Uh, Quite a lot. He's joined quite a lot of spaces, and
No, forget about joining. I'm actually, because I know he's been there listening. But what about active participation? Would you know?
from the start, even from the start, reject finance bill. He was there rejecting, even before all these protests.
You're
People
not
were,
responding to my question because I know there are many who have been rejecting.
yeah.
But I'm just asking you. You're talking about him, for example, being on the spaces. Would you know how many spaces he's actually attended and participated in?
No, I don't count.
Because I know there are two. One was for PP and then the one for yesterday. And then the reason why I feel like, no, I think you're either being disingenuous about your sentiments of him being approved by the bigger majority of the Gen Zs is because you can just see on the TL what's happening. And like Matiangi, who was actually rejected straight up on the spaces, and I remember very well, I've attended so many of these spaces. One thing that has been made clear is there is no politician who will be allowed to speak in front of us. There is no politician who that is in front when they're going to the streets. Forget about the spaces because I'm seeing they infiltrating the spaces pole pole. There is no leader who will be allowed to be quote unquote part of us. So even someone like Salasia has spoken on some spaces, but you've not seen him being fronted as a leader. But if you look at the TL yesterday, and McKenna, if you look at the TL objectively, you will see that majority of the people have actually accepted him. And for the people, I saw one of his cousins or something trying to shoot him down, saying that the guy was not good, blah blah blah, just selling some agenda, again a separate agenda. The guy was totally shot down by everyone from the Gen Z movement. So you just need to look at the major people who are supporting this Gen Z movement. Look at the person that they're actually fronting as their preferred candidate. And yet Umtata has only spoken twice. That one I know for sure.
No, he's spoken.
Well,
He's going to
McKenna,
speak
I think,
after.
wait, McKenna, I think what you're doing is either you are refusing to see what is really happening, or you're part of what is happening. So you might not want people to actually, and I'm not accusing you might not want people to actually know what is truly happening behind the scenes. But whoever is fronting Omtata right now is your leader. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it, maybe you're just being ignorant of the fact. But to me, I can see clearly that there's a leader somewhere. That's what I wanted to actually comment on.
Uh, I do not agree with you, Mariam, but that assume the leader that you are saying, whoever is fronting Omtata, the moment he's called to State House for a handshake, the people will distance themselves from him and they'll move on with the movement until their demands are met.
So, McKenna, another thing that shows me that there's a lot of either ignorance or games in this movement is that you guys are insisting that you're leaderless, that you have no leaders, that you're planning to front, and yet you're planning to eject leaders. So how can you eject leaders without actually having a plan of who to replace these leaders? Why is your focus on the leaders if it's true that you guys are leaderless? Don't you
We are
think that there's someone who
that
has some vested interest
we,
at the back of this movement?
we are very democratic, Mariam. When the leader is ejected, there will be an election, and Kenyans will elect a leader. We believe in democracy. We're not going
So
to
what?
someone. There has to be a general election when
So
the
what would be your criteria of
advocate.
choosing the next leaders after you eject the ones who are there?
Sorry.
What would be your criteria of choosing the next leaders when you eject the ones who are actually there?
uh, the young people, if you've been listening carefully, they are going for integrity now. They're not going for rich people or people who cause chaos like before. They're going for someone who has a good track record.
Okay, so give me two or three examples of a person who has a good track record, is a person of integrity, and is not a person who is quote unquote wealthy. Do you have any three examples out
That
of the
person
previous
could
candidates?
that person could even be me, Mariam. It could be you. You present yourself, sell your agenda. We find out about you. You get a certificate of good conduct. We ethics and corruption commission clears you. You come sell your agenda. We know who you are, where you come from, what you've done, and we elect you. These young people are woke now. They're not fools anymore.
Okay, so to me, I still believe you're playing political games, and I mentioned this I mentioned this on, sorry, this is the last thing I'd say. Whoever is speaking, I mentioned this on this very space, that the moment I saw people focusing on the leaders more than what the real issues are, and the real issues that you guys are trying to front are corruption, misappropriation of funds, things like that. Yeah, the bloated government, for example, that's a very major issue that you guys are complaining about. But the moment I saw you guys are saying, you're not telling the president, and you had an ear with the president, you did not ask the president, or rather, you're not even pushing to ask the president, when are you reducing your cabinet? Give us a timeline. Instead, you're saying, remove these people, we replace them. So it means that you're not even looking to solve the issue. You're looking to replace the issue with other people. It does not make sense, McKenna. And sometimes we need to be honest in these conversations. If your issue is a bloated government, then what you need to be pushing is for the government to be reduced, not for you to remove the people who are there to replace them. So how will you have solved the issue? When it comes to integrity, how can you talk about integrity when the system is already broken and it allows people to be corrupt? Why aren't you choosing to fix the system and to fix the loopholes that are allowing corruption? How can you say that you're going to remove these people and bring these other new people who you're vetting through good conduct to a system that is already broken, McKenna? I think we need to be honest in these conversations.
No, but if
There's a political agenda behind this movement. But you guys, someone has hidden their hand. You're not just seeing it.
Mariam, for example, almost 70% of the cabinet, those people, we know them. We know Aisha Juma ordered the killing of an MCA in coastal region. We know this minister for agriculture was had a case, a rape case. He had a case, almost three cases, corruption case in court, even when he was appointed. So there was already people are not implementing Chapter 6 of the Constitution. It's already there. So the system is not the problem. It's the people in charge of the system. So when you see him appointing all these people despite their past history, just rewarding loyalty, then you're like, you're part of the problem. You either fix this or you also live with them. And him replacing those cabinet ministers with more competent people who will manage the docket. If a more competent person, if he appoints someone else and those people are corrupt, we are here again to call them out. Just the way we have called out the Senate for voting yes on a bill that is about to allow them to trade with the state. So we are just calling things out that this here is the problem. We point it out, we press inject until you drop it and make the right decision. Even if one of us, one of the Gen Zs becomes president, the same pressure, unless we apply the same pressure, then they will relax and not deliver. So I think it's good that way. Let people keep pressing.
No, I do get you, but let me tell you, McKenna. So okay, now you see the direction you're taking is a totally different direction, because you can challenge the president or the government by saying that, you see, there's Obado, there's all these people who have cases in court, some of them actually murder cases, and constitutionally they're not allowed to be there. So you can push for these particular people constitutionally to be removed. But when I hear a whole movement saying that all the MPs need to be removed because they voted yes, make it make sense, McKenna. Because now you have grounds to remove some particular people from government because constitutionally they're not allowed to be there. But now when you go and say that we need to remove these people because they voted yes, is that an agenda that you're pushing?
Mariam, that's not. It's not just voting yes. We have seen a lot of corruption even with the CDF money. We have seen that the parliament is not independent anymore, Mariam. It's more than that. And when they are removed, they can go back to their people. If their people believe that they actually have their interest, then they will vote them back. So it's not about just yes, no, no. It's more than that. There's a lot of corruption. They have come out to confess that they were paid to vote yes. It's in public domain. They've come out to say how they hurriedly push an agenda. Some of them, like Sudi, misses almost 82 sessions in a row and is still there. How is he representing the people of his constituency if he's missing parliament sessions? Some of them say they were sleeping and they had their name being mentioned. So they're not doing their job. They have failed. We are here because they have failed us. So it's more issues. It's not just yes, no. The same way we have a problem with Ruto, it's not just because of the finance bill. There are more issues than it meets the eye. So when people go back to seek mandate from their people to represent them, the people will evaluate their performance and decide whether they should vote them back or not. I'm gonna have to jump out. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Kibe. I'm gonna have to jump out and go for dinner.
McKenna, just before Kibet says bye to you or whatever, McKenna, um, I think you had me speaking yesterday on some major issues that are affecting, for example, the county. So my worry is, are guys focusing on the wrong people when it comes to who is failing? We just start from the county level, then you go to the national. Are guys focusing on the wrong people, or are people targeting specific people because of the financial bill? You're angry at them because of the financial bill, and you're ignoring the people who are actually failing you when it comes to corruption in your own counties and country. Because that for me is, I feel like guys, think guys are targeting the MPs because of the finance bill. Your anger is still on the finance bill. But you're forgetting that you've mentioned corruption and you've mentioned the governors and all that. That's where the problem is. So I'm just challenging you to kind of think about why you're really, really targeting the MPs. For me, I think it's still vendetta about the finance bill. But if you look deeper, there are people that actually have failed you constitutionally, and you can actually go for them. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that I think that there's a hand being played at the back of the curtain somewhere, but you all are blind to that hand. And that's why Kibe keeps insisting there's a leader somewhere who's giving you instructions, but you guys are actually either blind to it, or but you're just ignoring it. And another reason why you would know that is because when you ask many people, okay, fine, why do you want the IEBC to be reconstituted? Some people will not even tell you why. They don't know. It's just because they've been told. They've had people saying IEBC, so they're going with it. If you ask them, why do you think your MPs need to be removed? The only reason they say is because they voted yes. They'll not give you any reason beyond that. So McKenna, it means that yes, the instructions being given by someone. You just need to open your eye to know, why are those instructions being given to you? What is their agenda? So thank you, McKenna.
And Mariam, someone like McKenna is a bottom feeder, so he doesn't really know where the instructions are coming from. But what he does, he can dandy the movement. That's why with his small Australian dollars, he can send back that money and give instructions to people in Kuria district. So these guys who are supposed to be the ones who are looking out for the interest of Gen Z are actually just jumping like ticks on the movement instead of asking the real questions like, hey, where are the instructions coming from? Simple as that. I know. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, McKenna. Lee, before I go to Lee's, Javan, you came running. What did you want to say?
Thank you very much, Kibe. And I think also part of guys who are proponents of these, that there's nothing like a leaderless thing. That leaderless thing to me, it doesn't end up, because every day we are getting posters saying that, oh, you need to go to occupy this, you need to go to this place. That tells you there's someone who is pulling the strings. Therefore, we cannot sit here and listen to people telling us that they are leaderless. They are leaders. Yesterday, we saw what Boniface Mwangi did. That is a leader. These guys have been following Osama and Kina Kimuzi. They are leaders. So in their own capacity, there's someone who is making these people go on the streets. There's someone who is making these guys feel agitated. And I think what they need to do as the Gen Zs and the millennials and everyone who supports this movement is to give these people a mandate. For now, we have leaders, but they have not given them a mandate. Therefore, there's nobody to hold them to account. If today Boniface Mwangi decides that he will not hold any concert going forward, nobody will ask him a question because we didn't tell him to do that. If Osama decides to go to State House to dine with the king, nobody will ask him a question because we didn't give them a mandate. And from where I sit, I was proposing, if I was the one to to tell this Gen Z something, they need to come up with they need to give these people a mandate so that they can ask them questions and hold them to account. If it's about coming with a secretariat of around 5 guys or 7 guys, people who they know this is a command center, this is where the information is coming from, to avoid all this confusion. The reason why these protests are losing momentum is because they are divided. They have no target. Some people are saying we are occupying State House. There's a team saying they are going to occupy Parliament. There are guys saying they are going to occupy MOH. There are guys saying they are occupying everywhere. Therefore, there is a lot of divisions and small segments that are pushing different agenda. That is why there's no common ground. That is why people are divided. But if they had a group of people who they have entrusted the leadership, that would have made a lot of sense. And let me tell you, Kibe, these people saying that a leader will be compromised or a leader will be bought or a leader will do whatever, all their insecurities, because these people, they have so much insecurities. I don't know where it is coming from, but they have no problem with Boniface Mwangi when he brings up a successful concert or something. If today they have a secretariat of 5 people, waseme, these guys are the one who are representing Gen Zs. We have vetted them. We understand them from their past. These are people who have been pro-people. Those people will have so much power such that if they enter any government office, useme mimi ni secretariat wa Gen Zs and their movement, my friend, will be accorded the highest respect and nobody will ever think of tampering with you. Those guys will never be abducted. If those kina Osama have been given mandate, hata hangeenda your State House. If Boniface Mwangi today agepewa mandate na Gen Z, hey, guy, you are the face of this revolution, no politician would joke with that kind of a fella. Wow, politician watakuwa wanamwogopa. That guy would be coughing and the whole country would be listening to what they are saying. So this insecurity of telling us that, oh, you remain leaderless till the dunia gives you whatever. There's no leader who is coming from heaven. You utilize what you have. And if you remain leaderless, you'll keep injuring the soldiers who are in front line. Today you will attack Kibe. The other day they were attacking Kibe. They were attacking everybody. Miguna is here. Everybody will come and you will attack them. At the end of the day, these people will retreat, go back, retreat, go back. Everybody who tries to come up, unagonga kichwa, anarudi. Kairo alikuwa hapo, akagongwa kichwa, akarudi. Osama ndiye huyo, kichwa, nani. Everybody, ukitokea tu hivi ukae kama you have some powers, una consolidate some support, unagongwa. Where will you get leaders? Will you remain segregated? Will you remain lost in the wilderness with no common agenda? And I think going forward, these people should have one agenda. One agenda. Unajua, the movement, the finance bill, it was successful because it was about the finance bill. Now they don't know what they want. Mara register IBC. Mara need. Why can't these guys have one common ground? If it's Ruto must go, then focus on that. You cannot be saying Ruto must go, but on the same case, there are people who are saying dissolve the cabinet, or reshuffle the whatever, or bring back whatever, sijui nani, Wafula Chebukati nani. Oh, this kind of confusion. That is why the government has been able to neutralize this movement. That is why today politicians are back, fire blazing on internet, saying all manner of things, because they have realized you people don't have a command center. You people don't have people who you listen to. You are just saying you are leaderless. So tutakuwa tunachukua. Tukiona Javani amesema kitu poa, tunachukua, tunaondoa kwa movement. Makena akisema hivi, tunaondoa. So you need people who you can hold to account, people you can ask questions. Ili kesho Hanifa akichukua pesa, you can ask her questions. Don't hold someone into account if you have not given them any mandate. And I think by doing so, this movement will be able to move forward. But remaining leaderless, hapo, I don't understand where it doesn't add up. I think at the end of the day, they need leaders, because as they are saying, we need to take voters' cards and voters. Who are we voting for? Who are we voting for if Gen Zs have no umbrella of their own? That is what I've been suggesting. Going forward, these movements should have their own political party, because we cannot rely on political parties that are a problem to this country to give us the right people. The Gen Z should come up with their own political umbrella that will sponsor Gen Z like-minded individual to parliament. We can't rely on ODM to give us a Gen Z-minded individual. We cannot rely on UDA to give us a leader who will take this country to the next dispensation, because they have failed. We need people who will be loyal to the cause. People will be loyal to the cause of this revolution. You see, that is why today I have no problem with Peter Salasya when he says all manner of things, because he's not loyal to the Gen Zs. He's loyal to his party. Jalango is loyal to ODM. So we need something that will make people who will be elected to power to be loyal to this cause. Therefore, I suggest the young people of this country, the Gen Zs, and everybody who supports this revolution to come up with their own political party that is ideological based, that is tribalist, a political party that will be there in 2027, so that when unasema Babu Owino must go home, give us are we replacing Babu Owino with? Which party are we supporting? An ideological based founded political party that captures the aspirations of Kenyans. Because what we have, the political parties that we have, they don't capture the aspirations of Kenya. These are parties that are there to make profit. These are parties that are there to ditch the party nomination certificate to people who hero worship their party leaders, to people or to the highest bidder. That is why we have been having all these problems. That is why the parliament has been a praise and worship, choir. They sing praise and worship to their party leaders. Those in Azimio, they worship Raila. Those in Kenya Kwanza, they worship Raila Odinga. Therefore, it has never been about people. That is why I'm saying if it's about people, if it's about good leadership, then we need also a party that will bring good leadership. We cannot talk of good leadership minus political party participation. Therefore, I think that is what the Gen Zs should focus on, and I think that will be much better, going forward, and bringing change that we really need in this country. And finally, I suggest that we need also to have a constitutional amendment. Hii process ya kurecall member of parliament iwe simple. Tukiona jamaa hafanyi kazi, tunamtoa mara hiyo hiyo. Thank you, Kive, for the space.
So, the issue with all these things that we're talking about, like now making it easy to recall a member of parliament, all these things we're talking about, there's always left and right. There's always you and there's them. So when it's not you on the seat, it's very easy to say things like those. But when it comes down now to deciding, because again, remember, we have established that leaders are very hard to come by. Just from this movement alone, you guys have seen that it's very hard to come by good leaders. Because this movement alone, and I can probably see why Gen Z are scared, because for them, they don't see any honesty. That's why they're saying, oh, we don't want any leaders, because there's no honesty. They can already see it. Because if there was honesty, I mean, they're gravitating towards Okiya Omtatah, because Okiya Omtatah seems to be honest a little bit. There's a history of him fighting for people. So imagine they're gravitating towards somebody who fights for the rights of other people, who defends, who's the defender. That's how bad things are in Kenya. That we have such a need for good leadership that now we are gravitating towards defenders. Defenders don't make a country. Defenders are good, but the defenders don't build a country. And I'm not saying anything against Okiya Omtatah. He will probably make the best president. I don't know. But I totally understand why Gen Z are scared, because they have seen the lies. They have seen the lies in their parents' eyes. They have seen the opportunistic nature. Every time one of us comes up to try and tell them something, they can see that we are there to grab their attention so that they can give us this, what do you call it? This endorsement and say, oh, it is Kibe who's going to lead us now. No, I don't want you guys to think that way. I don't want you to think in terms of coming from a negative point of view. I want you to think that, hey, once we elect our leaders, then we protect whatever it is that we send out there, we protect. In the olden times, a messenger was to be treated like a king because he is the voice of the king. So whatever belongs to the king is going to be treated the way the king would be treated, because you are part of the king. So these leaders or these representatives you guys get, this is for you, Gen Z, these representatives you are going to protect them so that they can go represent you without fear. Because now imagine you send someone like Khalif. You send Khalif, you tell him, Khalif, go to KTN and talk on behalf of Gen Z. Khalif goes there on KTN. In the comment section, you guys are killing him. By the time he's leaving KTN, he's never going to want to do that shit again. He's going to be like, fuck you guys, I'm done. Jack Olang, what do you want to say?
Thank you. I wanted to, sorry, I was on a call. I wanted to say a bit about the leadership and the confusion around it. I understand where people who want a physical leader coming from. It's a historical thing. Even Israelites wanted somebody they can touch, you know. I think people who are clung on, we want a physical leader suffering from Raila Odinga, mentality. Some people still want a Raila Odinga in the current generation. This movement is led by an idea. Okay, we are about an idea. There are things we want to see done. So let's just slow down and clamor around the idea. Let us push the idea that we want good governance. We want this country to move forward. If there is supposed to be a leader, then there is a process of choosing a leader. At the moment, we are pushing for accountability, right? So we are about an idea, not leadership. The issue of leadership has a laid down process. Anybody who wants to be a leader, there is a procedure. So for now, it's about ideology. We are led by an idea, not a person. We are led by an idea. Only that.
Jack.
I'm here. Thank you.
Jack.
I'm here.
Yeah. Stop moving around. Are you using headphones?
I've just unplugged the headphones.
Yeah, just unplug the headphones, then you can come back. There's so much background noise there.
I'm here. I'm not clear.
So, which ideology are you talking about?
Okay. So we want, number one, good governance. Okay. We want people to be accountable. If there is a CS somewhere that is supposed to do his work, then we want to see that guy doing his work, not walking around flaunting his possessions.
I get that. I get that. My point here is this: that all these ideas that you're putting forward are coming from someone like you or me, Sindio?
Yes.
And then people pick those ideas up and hashtag them and push them, whatever. But the ideas are generally coming from Olang and Kibe.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody takes a poster and puts it up in the poster and says, "This is the ideas now. This is who we are."
Uh-huh.
Or how does it work on this other side? Because what I'm trying to say is this, and maybe you guys are not going to be right. I'm trying to say that as long as they keep pushing just mute your mic for a second. So as long as they keep pushing the idea in your head that it's leaderless, then they can sneak in their agendas in there. Okay? Because it's leaderless. So they'll just sneak in an agenda here today. Today they'll have an agenda. You had even at the very tail end of this thing, the way Miguna was sending instructions. Miguna was going for people who had fucked him. And he was now putting that in a tweet, and then at the end adds, "Hey, remember, we are leaderless, fearless, partyless." But meanwhile, this guy's number is this and this, go assassinate him. You guys saw that shit. He was able to use that for his own personal gain. He was settling scores. Same thing with Guaido. Settling scores. You can see him settling scores, goes in there. Same thing with Boniface Mwangi, settling scores. In there, settling his own personal scores. And then he comes and tells you, this is all we want. We want this and this and this. And meanwhile, we want the cabinet dissolved. Whose call is that? Because how cheap are you? How cheap was it when Osama was bought? It was very cheap. It was not even a good buy. But as long as this movement, you keep insisting it's leaderless, then the de facto leaders are the ones who are being used to sell the product. So the product now has become the Gen Z movement. Anybody who can go in there, buy a few of these leaders, change the conversation.
Okay, can I jump in? Can I just say something?
Yeah, go ahead. And hold up. After you're done, engineer Shitote, just jump in.
Okay, now let's take for example this guy Osama, and that he was bought. Nobody has facts, right? It's just a presumption, plus a couple of others. And you have seen them discarded from the movement. You have seen them sidelined from the movement. There is another clique that will come to sell the product, as you say, and assign themselves de facto leaders. They will pay them, and then they will be sidelined again. The circle will go on. Okay, you get the guy who thinks he's a leader, and then you buy him, and then we sideline him. The movement continues. That's why we say that it is an idea led and not a person led. As much as you want to you want to have a person so that one you can assign him advantage and disadvantage. When you have assigned him advantage, it will be good. But when you start assigning him disadvantage, then you will get a point of beating and knocking this guy down. When you have knocked him down, you have knocked the movement down. That is why we are insisting that the idea, you can only either side with it or take an opposite direction. So as much as we are led by an idea, we can all hide behind the idea that as we want good governance, right? And if you want to counter good governance with another ideology, then you can sell your idea. But for us, we want good governance, not Okia Umtata, not Kibe. We want good governance. So if you're Kibe, you're in the office, we don't have a problem with you. As long as you are championing our ideas of good governance, ideas of taking this country forward. We don't really care, right? We actually don't care about your past. We don't care who you are. We care about the idea.
Thank you,
That's it.
Kibe. Kibe, it really amused me when you bring in this issue of leadership. People keep on just running around the bush, and I think some people have a way of shielding us to discuss things when it comes to leadership of this movement, and they have a reason of doing that. We should know that revolutions have happened across the world, and a good example of a revolution that is same to the one in Kenya happened in Ukraine. You see, Zelensky became a president on the grounds like the grounds that are in Kenya. But because at that, just because of at that time, there was no one to come up and lead that revolution in Ukraine. Zelensky popped up, and people had picked him. Those people who had interest, they know if we pick Zelensky, put him there, we're gonna do whatever we want. Now Ukraine doesn't have a country because of a leader. Back to our Kenyan revolution. See, Kipe, I don't know where I saw this, but you said, uh, is this revolution to an extent being controlled by the president? I'm starting to think like you because there's a wing that has that has a tendency of misleading these Gen Zs, so that the president can have his own way to maneuver and throw away all the people around him by now in the bus. And then there is another faction that has realized that there are people working with the president. Now the faction of Boniface Mwangi. They have realized if we joke with this revolution, it will go back to President Ruto. That's what alluded to what is happened in Uhuru Park yesterday. Then someone like McKenna is trying to stay away from this leadership thing. But yesterday in Uhuru Park, each and every statement ended with the word Ruto must go. Right. You want Ruto to go. Whom do you want to replace that Ruto? You have to have a mechanism. If Ruto goes now, who will you put there to run your errands? So when Kipe talks about leadership, let's support him and let's have a discussion as soon as possible. We need a leader for this revolution, because people have a tendency of telling us not to talk about it now just because they want to hijack it at the end. People like McKenna, we know you guys, you want to hijack this movement and you don't have that interest of all the people. You have interest of the few. So we have to talk about this and we have to sort these things of leadership of this movement once and for all. Lastly, you cannot align an army to go to war without giving the sword. We all know the sword that is required to deal with a politician. The sword is the voter. How many of you guys are voters in Kenya? That's the question I'll continue asking you guys. If we don't talk about it, we will just perish and this revolution will be like just a movie and then it goes on like the way we used to see those series, then they disappear. We have to talk about this. Thank you, Kipe.
Asante, Engineer John William, are there?
Okay, thanks. So to me, the idea of we are leaderless is indoctrination at its best. I believe that is how Gen Zs are being indoctrinated into believing that they are leaderless. And it is a way of manipulation because we all have a general consensus that there is a leader. The people who are saying we are leaderless, they are the ones who are the leaders. Okay, in some ways, that is what you can say. They are trying to have control of this movement. And that there are two theories here, if you ask me. Number one, where are the instructions coming from? Because if we were leaderless, if this movement was leaderless, as we are saying, the ideas should be coming from the people, from the members, from the Gen Zs themselves. But where is the instructions? Where are the instructions coming from? That is where the leader is. That is, the center of power in terms of what we are talking right now, if you ask me. And one man pops up, that is Boniface Mwangi. But if you look at it through the other lens, you'll realize that it is not even Boniface Mwangi that is trying to sort of hijack this thing. There are some forces because many people are saying, oh, the president wants to hijack this thing politicians, you hear people saying politicians, but it is not just. You guys remember that Boniface Mwangi was Martha Karua's sort of campaigner, so to speak, during the campaign. Boniface Mwangi sort of was for Martha Karua to be the deputy president. So it's not that Boniface Mwangi is someone neutral or someone who just came up yesterday. This guy was in 2022 general elections. He was supporting Martha Karua. So if Boniface Mwangi is the one calling the shots, then definitely there are politicians behind him, because the rallying call has died. Reject Finance Bill has died. What people are their masters, and I'm talking about Boniface Mwangi and Hanifa. What their masters are trying to tell them is mobilize these people, keep them busy until 2027 if we cannot manage to get Ruto out of office right now. So to me, I believe someone wants to hijack the movement, and that is Boniface Mwangi, if you ask me. And just a message to Gen Z: we are in a political war. You cannot be playing basketball when people are playing football. You cannot go to a political war. You want to fight a political war as if you're fighting a different war. If it's a political war, you have to fight it through the political way of fighting political wars. That is what I can say.
And you know, it's like I've been hearing them saying, "Oh, you know, we need to reconstitute IEBC." If I'm the president, and there's a whole new Gen Z movement that is threatening my presidency, and the only way that they can get more wings is by me reconstituting the IEBC. You think I would? You think? I mean, you guys are telling the person you're fighting against to play fair. That's what you're doing. You're telling them, "Oh, play fair, play fair, play fair." No, bro. The ref was looking that way. This guy took a seat, hit you on top of the head, and now you're on the deck for the 3 count. Mariam, what did you come here running to say?
Oh, now, lakini the IBC issue is funny because the president already committed to it, and I know he committed to it. I think he's supposed to work on it tomorrow, if I'm not wrong, because he's gonna do it and then ask them, and then what? What next? Because he knows they don't have a plan after the IBC. And you know, I came back to say something. I think I was adding to what you were saying. There are 2 reasons why Gen Z are refusing to front a leader. And I see people already in the comment section saying that we are working for the government. That's why we're talking about leaders. But no, that is what you always fall back to. Now, they're refusing to pick leaders for 2 reasons. One is that if someone says they're the leader, they're going to be taken by the government and killed. So it means no one is really willing to die for this cause. No one is convicted enough to fight for something and die for it. Now, that is already a very big issue. Number 2, they're refusing because they're saying that the person will be compromised. So when you say that if you pick a leader, the person will be compromised, it means that we actually have a cultural issue when it comes to integrity. So why are you agitating to change leaders if you know that it's a cultural issue, the integrity issue? Isn't it the time for you guys to actually pick someone, bank on him? Let's see whether people actually have integrity in the country. And I do get your point, Kibe, when you're talking about someone like Cairo, though he's way gone now from the movement. Cairo has already said, he has explained how he made his money. We know what he does. When he was challenged on his ethics issue, he actually put up $1 million for anyone to come up and say, these guys sold me a bad vehicle. So you know that's a guy who actually has ethics, but you did not pick him. So this is the time for you guys to actually prove to the government that we have somebody who can represent our interests and cannot be bought. Can you prove that corruption is not actually a cultural issue, that we don't have an integrity issue in Kenya? Why are you scared? Is it because you know that you do not have anyone who is worthy of this position that McKenna is talking about? Because he's talking about integrity. Then why can't you pick one person who you believe that has integrity to go and represent your interests? Not even to represent, to be the face of the Gen Z movement, and you can bank on this person, they will never be bought because they have integrity. It doesn't make sense. That's what I came back to say. Yeah, let's prove to the government that we have someone who cannot be bought. Simple. Let this person be the face and let the government approach him. Let them do everything, but the person puts his foot down and says, no, this is what we want. Ruto must go. We are going to follow the constitution. We have lawyers behind us who are giving us advice. You have broken this in the constitution. You have to go and push it with a face on it. Let's see whether we can prove the fact that corruption is not a cultural issue in Kenya. So that's what I came to say, Andrew. Thank you.
And you know, when it comes to picking your leaders, you must remove the emotion from it. I saw Duke of Kericho put up a tweet. I wish I could get that tweet now. Duke of Kericho, where can I get that tweet? There's a tweet he put up here. I want to show you these guys who are crying leaderless here. I will find it. I have time. Yes, I got it. 34 minutes ago, he says, if in case we need leaders, then it is Amerix and Omkia Omtata, and that should not be open to discussion of any kind. Hey. Any car that you choose must be black. Wasike, jump on this one before I go to Liz and Omudi.
Yo, Kibe, niaje?
Fiti, sema.
Niko fiti. Sasa hapa hii issue ni moja, na hii issue unaona Gen Z wenyewe wakiambiwa produce your leader, they are not going for Gen Zs. Wanaendea wazee. So what's wrong with Gen Zs? Umeambiwa leta leader yako mwenye tunataka, mwenye ni kiongozi ama ni youth kama we mwenyewe. Then unakataa kuchukua youth mwenzako, unataka kuchukua wazee. Amerix hayuko kwa Gen Z, hayuko kwa millennial ama something of the sort. Okiya Omtata hayuko Gen Z, but mko mnasema you are leaderless. So I fail to understand their concept ni gani yenye wanatumia hapa kusema ati they are leaderless. Now, Gen Z is like a pregnant rat. Alafu kuna watu wanataka kufeed. So hawezi kula pregnant rat. Kuna watu wanakula kutoka kwa hii movement. That's why unapata they are being protected. Una protect pregnant rat ili ziendelee kuzaa, ukule watoto wake. Sasa unakula watoto wake wakubwa. Lakini mama hao mwenye ako pregnant huwa the Gen Zs haukuli kabisa. Gen Z ni movement iko kwa ile expressway. Alafu sasa kuna wale viongozi wanataka kujifix, wako kwa Mombasa Road. So wale wenye wako kwa Mombasa Road wasipopita na hiyo viko juu yao wanalalamika. That's unapata Amerix, Omtata, Alai, Boniface Mwangi, Nyakundi, Miguna wote walikuwa kwa Mombasa Road. Sasa wameamua kupanda kwa expressway ili movement ipite nao. Na kila mtu ana strategies. You have a prize. Prize yako ni ngapi? Number 2. Hii yote yenye ina happen na Gen Z ni theory. Ni kama ile tulikuwa naambiwa, mwalimu anakuja class anakuambia, Kibe, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a doctor. Wasike, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a pilot. Alafu mwalimu anatoka hapo anasema nini? Well done. Kwa kichwa unasema, mimi ni pilot, mimi ni engineer. Now, after form 4, wanakuambia wapi results sasa? Ndio tukuplace kama wewe ni engineer, kama wewe ni doctor. This when reality hits. This when all inatoka kwa kichwa wako, inakuwa sasa reality on paper. And that's what Gen Zs wanna fail to understand. Wako na good idea, wanatuambia kwamba Ruto out. Yes, Ruto out is a good thing. Theory. Now Ruto is out. Bring your papers, report cards. What next? Kila mtu ananyamaza. Tukifika tu kwa what next? Everybody's keeping quiet. Why? And that's why I can tell you this for free. If this Gen Z wanaona kama mtu kama Boniface Mwangi is their true leader, na uweze convince otherwise, if somebody of that sort anaonekana kuwa leader na huyu mtu anako convince kwa akili yake kwamba Boniface Mwangi ni leader, then that person is wrong. Finally, once everything has settled, and this one I can confirm, na hata naweza bet on this, hii vita haiendi kuwa about Gen Z anymore. Hii vita inaenda kuwa the big boys. Ulipewa pesa ngapi ukasaditi hii group na imeanza? So issue inaenda kuwa the big boys wanapigana wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Wewe ulipewa pesa ngapi ukatusaliti? Sasa itakuwa Otero nilipewa pesa fulani, Boniface Mwangi ulipewa pesa fulani, Hanifa ulipewa pesa fulani. Sasa hivi tunaenda kuwa kati ya watu wakubwa wa Jonyo wanajifanya ni viongozi, but meanwhile tukiendelea kusema ni Gen Z are leaderless, my friend, so long as you keep saying you are leaderless, forget hii kitu inaenda na mtapoteza hii movement yenyu. Ilikuwa imeanza vizuri, mlikuwa na good intentions, but as we go down you are losing it. Thank you.
Moody, what do you think?
How are you, my people? My name is Omudi Hamis, and it will sound like a brag, but I'll start with you, Andrew Kibe. Kibe, when in Mbaya, you are the guy who inspired me to start holding a microphone. You need to kuja kupigia one of these fine days. Kibe tumegongana naye mara mob sana, accidentally Mombasa na hii Nairobi, na bila kupanga yani. So this thing that has been burning in my heart, nianze kubonga. Na wewe ndiko unani inspire na kuuliza, tukimit to the first question nilikuwa nakuuliza gani, how do you do it? Ulikuwa unaniambia you are pointing at my phone, nasema hii simu nitakutoa. So I started talking and posting stuff on TikTok. Sina followers wengi, but I can assure you the trigger ya hii movement yote ni content yangu. The only problem yenye napata from TikTok messages ni kwamba hawa watoto wananiambia that I'm a pro Ruto, and I always give reasons. That's why hawajani cancel, you know. Hata Kibewe naona siku hizi unanilenga unipatia hapa microphone, once will realize nasema nini, don't go for Ruto. Hiyo tagline ya Ruto must go ndio iharibu hii movement yote. It's bigger than Ruto. Hii issue ni kubwa kushinda Ruto, na solution nishatoa ni moja yenye hakuna Mkenya anataka kudiscuss. Sasa hizi ndio discussion imeanza, na all those contents yenye nimepost, hiyo ndio talk inaendelea. Like the first post that I did about being flexible, I asked Kenyans, why don't you guys be flexible? This is a month before hii mambo ya finance bill ianze. I said Kenyans be flexible. Nikapeana example ya Switzerland, nikapeana mambo ya corruption nini. Immediately hiyo talk ikaanza. After hiyo be flexible content, nikatoa content about Switzerland. 2 days later Ruto akatangaza akasema nenda wapi hiyo Switzerland. I said how Switzerland is demonic. The reason why I believe my content is the trigger for all this movement ni kwamba I always mix with some spiritual stuff. You get the point? So mahali tunakosana na Gen Z ni mahali ama wananipinga ni venye mimi nasema nini, don't deal with Ruto. We go for the next of guys who have been stealing from us from 2013. In that, huyu Ruto mwenye yuko ndio mtamtumia kutengeneza hiyo sheria ya kunyonga watu wanawaibia. Cause hii shida zote ni chapa. Na mimi nakwambia Kenya, mimi nimesomea KRA. KRA imenifundisha Kenya iko na ganji. Kenya iko na ganji. Sasa mimi nataka, I always say, compress all your messages into one. Nyongeni wasi wameiba. Hiyo kitu imechange countries. Ndio hata Ruto akitoka hata mweke pale KRG the Don, mweke Donkey, mweke nini, it doesn't matter. Nchi imesafishwa. So I can tell you, as matters leadership, ni mtu mwenye ana control narrative. I might be small in terms of followers ama nini, but the spirit that is in me, I can assure you, my first real name ni Churchill. Soma story ya Winston Churchill, uta realize what I'm saying. To the run up to the Second World War, alidiskadiwa, he was thrown outside. Alikuwa mbali, no one was listening to him, but yeye alikuwa anaona everything in totality. Alikuwa anaandika vitu, anaandika nini.
Omudi, I cannot allow you to continue with this line of conversation because sasa unatopoteza. Umeingia spirituality saa ngapi? Who has brought up spirituality for the last 2 weeks that right now you can bring it up? What's up with you, man?
You haven't. Nasema, you nishatoka about the spirituality. I'm explaining why I made some impact pale TikTok. Because the movement in Gen Z
why are we discussing that though?
I'm telling you who is controlling the narrative.
So are you the one controlling the narrative?
Of course.
Also this whole
last time you invited me in your platform, Papa, I said go for the next of the corrupt. Saisi minaongelea your corruption. That is 2 weeks after Nisha insist na nishatoa content about it. Every content natoa kwa hiyo TikTok ndio mna discuss, but nyinyi mko late, mna discuss a week later.
Because
You get the point?
You're in the spirit. Which spirit are you using?
No, I'm not in the spirit. What I'm saying is the inspiration. The inspiration. Lakini Wakenya ndio hawataki kusikia story ya spiritual, hawataki kusikia story.
Me, I want to hear it. I want to hear the inspiration. Where is the inspiration coming from?
My inspiration is Wajaluo wanasemanga juogi. You know, it's juogi means like demons za huko kwenyu, yani culture yenyu. Yani it's like, have you ever seen a very good musician mwenye hata hakusoma anasema tu akienda in trance mode anaandika tu ngoma, anajipata tu anaandika, like he's being led by something that he can't understand. You get the point. Hata mimi siwezi explain hii kitu. It's something that I see because I see things in totality. Nikisema fanyeni, nikisema
so do you go like in a trance?
Yes. I do. I do.
And how long does the trance last?
If around an hour. Hata I used to think maybe nilikuwa nafikirianga ni mavitu nakula nikaacha, but the thing is still there.
And then
anything inanikuja tu kwa kichwa nikiongea.
So you stay in the trance for an hour. When you come back with all this information.
Yes, I nachukua simu na record. Anything inasema huwa inafanyika exactly venye nimesema. That's why you are seeing this movement is iko confused. The moment
No. We're not there yet.
Why are you gagging me, Kibe?
Because you're giving me the bullshit. I don't need the bullshit. Because now you want to play victim. I don't want you to play victim. I want you to stick to the story.
Okay, now the story is...
Now you wanted to say, oh, that's why they gagged me because I don't give a shit about that. We are still on your story. We are back to where you are. You're going to your hallucinations and you come back an hour later.
Yes.
And then how do we know what source that is?
I am telling you, I can't explain. It's something that is inside.
Good.
Ask me any question about...
No. Because we don't know whether that source is good or evil, do we?
That happened your shida. The only difference we are...
Hapo ndio kuna kizungumkuti, because if we cannot establish whether the source is good or evil, then we cannot trust the information, can we?
The thing about spirituality, Stakani could dwell on that, it's because the country is divided. This thing is ideological.
No. Omudi, it's just you and I.
There's a cold war between religious people.
Omudi. We've gotten to the place where you cannot tell us whether the source of your information or the trance or the hallucinations, whether we can we know whether it's good or bad, right?
It is good.
But you just said you don't know whether it is good or bad. You just said you don't know whether it is good or bad.
Okay, can I finish my statement then?
But you said that just now.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
No, you said you don't know whether it is good or bad. So we're moving from that point. What other point? You want to go back on that, what you just said?
Yeah, let's go back.
Because you said you don't know the source of this information. You just know you go into a trance for an hour and you come back. So my point was, since you don't know the source of the information, since you don't know what is happening to you, then you cannot tell whether it is good or bad.
Ukiwa na ndoto ama vision, Kibe, how do you know the source of the vision? Usema tu maze, hii ni ka deja vu. Like it's like I'm seeing something. Ama uone kitu sema kitu shefanyika. You know, like a deja vu. Can you explain if a deja vu is a bad spirit or good vision? I
cannot write a book about it. I cannot go to the bank and tell them, hey, listen, I had a deja vu that you guys are going to give me $1 million. So this deja vu is just supposed to remain a deja vu, and you move on with reality. But you want to take us into your imagination.
Let me give you a good example.
And you want to blame us. You want to blame us because we did not listen to your advice from your imagination.
I'm not blaming anybody,
when you are in a trance.
What I'm saying is, last time on Nipe platform, nikakwambia nini? Hii shida ina boil down to what? Somalis versus Kikuyus. No, hata mtu akanipinga hapa akasema no, that's a conspiracy. 2 days later, ulisikia Isili maduka zilikuwa zinavunjwa za Wasomali. Mombasa, there was a Somali guy who was shooting at the crowd because they were attacking his nini. Was it not true?
No. Omudi,
Anything nasema ina come to
Omudi. Okay,
Mhm.
let's do this because we don't know what you've said before. I'll give
You
you.
do.
Hold up. I don't know. I don't remember. Omudi, come on. I don't remember everything anybody says. So I'll give you a chance to predict.
Mm.
Okay. So today
Mhm.
Today is July 8th, 2024. So I
Eighth.
want you to I want you to predict and say, okay, this is my prediction. And then now me and you don't have to argue about anything. We just wait for the prediction to come
Mhm.
true. And the day it comes true, then I'll come and worship at your church. What do you think?
No, it's not about a church. Okay, so go ahead.
No, it's you who go ahead. You predict for us now what you're seeing in the future for the Gen Z movement and Ruto and Regardie and any other thing you can predict. I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Umeniweka kama prophet, kama church. I'm not in the church or anything. Mi si mtu wa nini church ama anything. But unataka prediction na nini umesema? Where this thing is going, the whole movement.
No, I mean, it's a spirit. So you just invoke the spirit. The spirit will know what to say.
You're trapping me, eh? Okay. Anyway, my main message is compress all your problems into one thing, into hanging the corrupt. Pass a law, mubadilishe katiba, mse yote anaiba anything above 1 million bob.
No,
That's the only solution.
No, Omudi, you're back to advising people. We want predictions. I want you to say, on this and this day, we shall be at Uhuru Park hanging the corrupt. Not what we should do. You tell us what will happen. You're a prophet.
I'm not a prophet. I'm a kitu ka psychic. Yani kitu being a psychic is not being a prophet.
Use that. Don't give us your fucking advices. Yeah, nobody needs advice anymore. Tell us on this and this day, there's going to be hanging of 6 corrupt officials, and they'll be coming from this ministry.
This narrative is being controlled by my staff. That's what I'm saying. Mutaenda hivi mrudi, but hii conversation yote ina rotate around what I always say and post on TikTok. It will sound like marketing, but that's the truth. I'm not doing it for fun, Martin. It's really serious. Issue see Ruto must go.
Bullshit. Omudi, you know, the first few times you came here, you sounded very intelligent. And I was giving you a lot of leeway because at the time you were able to hold a real conversation. But now you've gone into your imagination, and I don't care for it. So I'll have to move on beyond you. Thank you, Omudi. Thank you for coming through, bro. I cannot have this. Yeah,
this dictatorship.
Na story ya Ziko. Unaanza kuniambia story za spirituality hapa. How the fuck is that reality? Can you talk reality? Ongea vitu real. Acha kuongea nonsense hapa hivi.
Everything I've said happened.
Kwenda huko wewe. Talk up Omudi. Talk up. Nonsense. Talking useless stories. Go reflect on your life and come back another time. For now, I don't have time to listen to you. Yeah, KOP, please save me from. Yeah, fight corruption.
Yo, hello, Kibe.
This will be ambiguous. What's happening, KOP?
Yeah, man, I'm good. So for me,
what spiritual direction do you want to take me into?
Awachana na Omudi. Hizo ni uchawi hizo. I don't know what the fuck. He's in his head. Achana na huyo. Okay, so for me, I just want to share like 4 things. Lakini kwanza, I will not forget, Kibe, what you did when we started the movement. Unajua, you were the first one to rubbish the whole thing. You came there like a puny, talking about, oh, there is no way you guys are going to do this.
No, KOP, please. I did not rubbish the movement. I questioned it. Okay. You guys are telling me, you're telling me that even right now at this stage that nobody can question the movement. What's wrong with you?
You started telling us about your era. Is that we tried this during the era of Moi? We did this during the that was some puny shit, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some whips for you. That's puny lampistic shit.
No, but if you guys can whip me, then I should be also have the liberty to whip you, right?
No, I mean you were trying to sell us
It
fear.
cannot.
How can no? How can you come and tell us about Moi and Kibaki? I don't know what. And
No, no. Since no, 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 no. KOP,
you even
KOP,
went
KOP.
ahead. You even went
You
ahead to
don't.
record.
You don't have the conversation. So as long as you don't have the conversation, then hatuwezi ongea kitu mimi na wewe tuna imagine. Give me an argument now, okay? KOP, don't go back into the past. Give me an argument now that we can have a real argument, but don't go into the past unless you're playing a recording. So do you have a recording with you? KOP is you I'm talking to. If you have a recording, play the recording. They don't say what I said. Just play the fucking recording.
Anyway, I see you're still in your ass. Okay, I'm just going to share the 4 viewpoints.
Do you have a recording? Do you have a recording?
There's something you said, because I remember people were bashing you and saying, "Oh, I think it was Instagram or something." I remember there was something, Kibe, you said. Then everybody was talking about it, so I had to go look for it, and then I saw the Punis.
Do you have that recording? You cannot accuse me and tell me that people were saying this and this. No, play the recording. These days is very easy. Squeeze is lazima to accuse mtu kitu haiko. Just play the fucking recording. Everything is recorded. I record all my spaces. Did you know that? Even right now, you're being recorded.
It doesn't have to be a recording, but me a writing or somewhere. I know I can find that shit. But anyway, that's
then before accuse me with some evidence. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and go to what it is that you wanted to say.
Anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, so the first one was something about Caliph Cairo. There's something you said about Caliph Cairo that I tended to agree. The Gen Z, I think we made a mistake on that, because I'm a Gen Z, by the way. We crucified Cairo for all the wrong reasons. I believe this was the guy who was supposed to be, So, in fact, anyone who's saying that this thing is leaderless, how can it be leaderless? I mean, there's no way we can move forward. There has to be someone. I may not agree with everything that Caliph Cairo says or does, but somebody has to stand up, because the first time, I've read about Caliph Cairo, a bit of it. I've seen his interviews. This guy is eloquent. I know he has chums. He's running the business thing. I don't know if it's a car dealership. He looks like someone who has a backbone, Because when the president was engaging with this other Punis, because I just went in there for like 20 minutes and then I just went out, because I saw everything was just like, this is planned. It seems so generic, like they had planned who was supposed to say what, and then now we're here talking about how Osama was bought. What did you guys expect? Definitely, Caliph, at least they were not going to buy him off that easy. I mean, I don't know, but that's my viewpoint. So the second thing is, yes, we won the demos, the finance bill. Ruto rejected the bill. And then all of a sudden, everybody turned to it's like an opposition party. You're saying Ruto must go. We sound like we are in Azimio. That was not the whole movement. The whole movement, yes, we wanted the finance bill gone. And then what next? So what fucked up the whole Gen Z thing? I think we went to war without a plan. That was one of the mistakes. We did not have any strategy. That is why tulifika huko tukasema reject. Okay, aka reject. Alafu mkaanza maneno ya Ruto must go. How must he go? Kwani mlikuwa mnataka kuu ama ilikuwa nini? Number 3, I believe Ruto he outsmarted us. Because he gave us what we wanted. Yes, we wanted the finance bill gone. Then what next? You guys said you want to engage him on X. Okay, he came on X. Then what next? Did you see what guys were asking on X? There was I think it's only one person who asked anything reasonable. Yani, kila mtu alikuwa anauliza stories okay, I'm not trying to tone down ama rubbish what happened to those guys, but everybody was, huyo karao mwenye aliua msee. Okay, those were some reasonable questions, but sasa was that all? Kila mtu sasa started licking ass. Kila mtu anaingia hapo ana bow down. Oh, Mr. President, oh, Your Excellency. It's only one guy when I saw him somehow, at least he showed something, showed a stance. Okay, the last thing, Stagi Kongas, and I know there's a lot of people here. I think we need people who are going to push the movement. The first person who thought was going to push the movement was you, Kibe. I was sure you were someone who was going to I know you're not a Gen Z, but we need, not all Gen Zs can be influential like Caliph, but we need people to push out these systems, anything that we are planning for. Wa kwanza ilikuwa wewe, and then you went and did your puny shit. Number two, mtu mwenye you guys are trying to push aside is Amerix. Let me tell you guys, I'm not saying I know him personally, but I've been following him the same way we've been following you, Kibe, for some time. Are you guys listening to me? Ama naongea peke yangu? Hello?
Tunangoja points,
We
Joe.
can hear you.
Tunangoja. We're waiting for points.
I'm on my last point. I hope you guys mmekuwa mkishika kenye nakwambia. Amerix ni msee mwenye angetusaidia kupush hii kitu. Nimekuwa nikifollow Amerix for some time, I'd say 4 or 5 years. This guy has a backbone, I'm sure of that. He was even approached a host history ya presidential nini. Alisema Z. You can't buy that guy. Yani Kibe wewe venye. Anyway, let me not go back to you, lakini hiyo kitu ilibo sana. So such people ndo tunahitaji
You see the same thing you're doing is the same thing you guys did to Caliph, because you guys are saying that your movement has to be perfect. That's what you're saying. It has to be perfect. That's why the only person right now, according to you, and it's because you've never seen him anywhere physically, is Amerix. Because he has to be perfect. So your movement is a movement of perfection. That's why you're afraid of coming up with leaders. But the moment Amerix is to stand somewhere, when a labda amevaa kiatu size 4, then perfection disappears. You find out Amerix is 5'1", perfection disappears. You find out Amerix that hold up, don't interrupt, bro. I muted my mic, bro.
Oh, good.
Yeah, mute your fucking mic, man. What's wrong with you? Just I didn't interrupt you. So what's all this interruption? A child. So your movement is looking for perfection, and perfection doesn't exist because your movement has to get leaders from within you. That's why right now you guys are looking outside to see who is at least a little bit perfect so that we don't kill him. Because the moment you guys realize Amerix is not perfect, you're going to kill him. That's why Amerix is not going to present himself to you. Because he knows as soon as he presents himself to you, you guys realize he's the same height as you. You're like, fuck him. He's not the guy we thought he was going to be. The moment Okiya Omtatah farts the wrong way, he's out. Boniface Mwangi has been throwing himself at the Gen Z. They have rejected him. Because this is a movement of perfection that is lying to each other. So you guys have to get out of your own comfort zone. Out of your own comfort zone and start to be these people that you think you should be getting out here. Because if you don't do that, then what happens? Then your movement is weak, is going to be bought by anybody, and then come 2027, all these things that you're asking for will not exist. And I told you from the beginning, maybe even Mariam, maybe you should have had this. This cannot be a movement of issues. Issues are going to be discussed by the movement leaders. Because when you went to the president, you asked him, oh, we have this issue of reject finance bill. For him to kill the whole vibe is just reject the finance bill. It's very easy for him to do. Tell him, oh, get rid of a few ministers. Quickly, he's going to do that. As long as that pacifies you and you guys can go back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. So there's no real power there.
Okay, Kibe, so what I actually meant, aside from all that I've said, the only way that you're going to solve everything is going back to the root cause. Yes, we're saying Ruto must go, but there is a time, an example of like the next election, that is in 2027. At the moment, I'm not in the country, but I sent chums for people to go to the street. This is something I felt was, this was the time. Hii ndio ilikuwa time yenyewe ya ku make these people, feel that the power is in the people. Number one, there should be a political party for the Gen Zs. Najua kila mtu amesema hii. Where I come from is Bomet. Unaona? In the last general election yenye ilipita, the only party yenye ilikuwa ina exist huku ni UDA. Hadi there was something yenye wanaitanga suit. Suit is because unajua when you wear a suit, everything matches. So home kwetu, elections ilikuwa zinaisha time ya nomination. After nomination huko Bomet, nothing goes on. Juu hapo ndio mwisho nani. Party ni UDA. Hakuna any other party. You can't stand and say anything. After nomination, kama umepita tu nomination hivi na ulichuziwa na UDA, automatically unakuwa elected to the seat. So hakuna party ingine eti ilikuwa inaweza kuongea. That is how hivyo ndio hao waliweza kufika huko. Ukiangalia sasa Bomet from huko governor, senator,
Hey, KOP, we all know what happened. So give us some new information.
Exactly, yeah. So if the Gen Zs are going to come up na kitu party that we can say, okay, we're going to.
Are you a Gen Z?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I am. Yeah.
So do you see the value of Gen Z having at least their own representation? Do you see the value of that?
Yeah. Why not? That's the whole point, actually.
And do you see the value of developing these leaders as well? Because developing leaders is as important as having leaders. Do you see the value of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So why are you guys focused on the issues and not focused on getting good leadership?
That is why I'm saying all this. Hizi zingine yenye watu wanasema sijui, oh, let us change the what. This one must go. Trying to call this one out. It's not gonna help. We have seen people fight for these systems for years, ages. Hata wewe mwenyewe usema you fought kina Moi, you fought kina Kibaki. What came of it? There was nothing. The only way ni to rudi back. Let's play, tucheze na hii game yao. Kama game yao ni stories za voting, let us do your mass voter registration venye nani alikuwa anasema huu Duke of Kericho. Hata huu Duke mwenyewe anajua kenye inaendelea Kericho. Ni upiuni tu inaendelea huko, na mkicheza 27 si wadanganyi. We can do all the spaces that we want, we can do all the demos, we can write all the posters, we can do everything, lakini mwisho tu they'll go back to the ballot, same thing happens. Alafu back to square one, tena tunarudi tena Gen Alpha, tunarudi tena.
Okay, hold up, KOP. I peer review tweets. Did you want to jump in on this one, or where did you want to jump in?
Something else as you continue, because I was waiting for him to finish and everything so that I start mine.
Okay. Hold up. Just mute your mic for a second. Let's see if Wycliffe wanted to jump on that, and Duke as well. Anybody wanted to jump on that one? That one with KOP. If not, let's go back to Wycliffe.
Yes. Hi, Andrew.
What's up?
I'm all right. On this issue of leadership of the movement, I think that should be 100% way to go. I think we are coming from a different school of thought. There is the other generation and the new generation. A system is as good as the leader. We can have all the good systems, but if we have someone who is determined to destroy it, those systems and laws will not work. In fact, there's a debate in the US now that does the US need even a president because of one or two things here and there. So this movement, they need leadership, but I think it is something that needs to be cultivated now. It's a good discussion that needs to be moved forward. What I find a bit off is when Miriam tries to, insinuate that someone is backing up this thing. And we have had this narrative of Uhuru or ODM or who Raila or no. Let the leadership part be cultivated in this movement so that it can be formalized. It's something that can be able to move things forward. Otherwise, I support the leadership thing. Thank you.
All right. Duke. All right. Mariam, go ahead.
Yeah, Kibe, I still do struggle with some with your way of thinking, yeah, because just some minutes earlier you said that we should not be focusing on the issues, we should be focusing on good leadership. So I want to ask you, what is good leadership? Because to me, these things go hand in hand. The issue, okay, I'll give you just one issue, for example. So we would want, for example, at least 50% of our revenue to be focused on development, and then salaries to be 35%. That is a real issue. It is not a leadership issue. That is an issue that needs to be solved. So when you're saying that we should not be focusing on issues,
who is we? Who is we? When you say we would want, who is we?
Okay. I am saying that those are issues that people are agitating for example.
No.
Because they've been
Who's
important.
people?
Okay,
Because
let me say,
I've
do you
not,
want me
I've
to
not,
say I?
I've not had it from anybody else. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Is that so? Now,
So say I as Mariam, because it's not even your household that wants that. It's just you.
okay, Andrew. So let's start from here. You're talking of good leadership. What is this good leadership that you're talking about? And what is this good leadership? What is good leadership to you? I'm just wondering. Because yeah, from Saturday you've been talking about
No.
leadership.
You're running away from that point that you just fumbled.
No,
You fumbled
it's
when
because you say, what you
when
need
you
to say
went to the
I.
issues, because as long as it's issues, it's very personal. Because that's what you want as Mariam. That's not what people want. Everybody wants something different. So how do we decide which is the way forward? Which voice is the strongest? Who decides the agenda? Isn't that the whole conversation that we're doing right here? Because if we decide this is what we want, we go with it. But how do we decide this is what we want?
But this is the same discussion that we left hanging on Saturday, because I asked you, what are some of the, and I'm gonna, even using the word issues, yeah, sounds funny, but what are some of the issues that cut across the board? For example, garbage collection cuts across the board. Street lighting cuts across the board. So those are real issues that affect everyone. Everyone needs water. Everyone needs good sanitary.
These are just management issues. These ones can be managed on a very local level through the MCA and the people around them. Those are management issues. The better the manager, the better the constituency or the ward. I mean, this is basic, Mariam. You know that. So we cannot go to the country and say, oh, our country, our problem is lighting. No, it's not lighting. Our problem is we don't have good leaders, because once you have good leaders, then lighting is a foregone conclusion. We don't need to be discussing lighting. These are basics. Like garbage collection, these are basics.
Very good. So let me now bring my point home, now that somehow you're on the same wavelength with me. So the challenge is this. You see, all these things that you're actually agreeing on, that are things that need to be sorted across the board. The problem comes in when the budget is not enough for this problem. So that becomes an issue, that we don't have enough budget to deal with this. Even if you put Andrew there as a good leader, he's not given enough money to work on the issues that his people need. And I know you say people of Kibera have different
given money by who?
Usually it's the national government that allocates money to the constituencies, right?
The work of the government, the work of the president, is to make sure that the government can run. Wherever he's going to get the money from, that's his business. He's the CEO of this company. True or not true, Mariam?
True. Now, did you really get my point? You're kind of
I got your point, because you're trying to say, oh, there is no money, but the money is to be collected. It's for you to come up with innovations of making this money. That's why we're giving you the job. So so we don't come to you and tell you take this money and manage it. We tell you take the job and do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that this company runs the right way. The company called Kenya. But you want to go inside the management. You want to go give him the job and still manage the country with him. How is that possible?
You're still missing my point by a whole. God knows
okay, what is your point?
Okay, so this is what I'm going to try and walk you through it slowly. So you are talking about a leadership issue, but I am telling you that there are other issues that needs to be fixed to help the leader be a good leader. So for example, you, Andrew, you're a good leader. You're given Langata. So what happens is you will have this plan that will work to fix the issues of the people in Langata. But what happens is the national government allocates to you, let's say 1 billion. Let's just use 1 billion. Out of this 1 billion, 75% is going to operational costs and salaries, meaning you're remaining with this 25%, which cannot fix the issues that Langata people have. So at this point, the problem is not the leadership. The problem is that there's another issue of how the funds are being managed or whether they're being directed to that needs to be sorted. And that's why I'm saying that when you're saying that we don't need to deal with issues, we need to deal with leadership, there's a problem there. Those two go hand in hand. That you might give a constituency a very good leader, but as long as the system...
Which leader has been able to solve the ghost problem that we just put on our laps? Because when we look at a country like Argentina, the guy went in there and said, all this wastage here that you're talking about, that 70-75%, Let's get rid of it because this is wasting. We are wasting chums here, 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 and he's been able to turn the country around. A leader is as important as the revolution. You cannot take the leader away. The quality of the leader is so important. It's like the quality of a husband or the quality of a wife. You fuck up with that, you're fucked up for the rest of your life. How dare you say that's not important? Because these issues are going to be there. Today, issues are going to change. The issues in Bomet and the issues in Langata are very different. So if you take the people in Bomet electricity, street lighting, they don't need that, but it looks good. And you can take photos and say, hey, I've helped the people of Bomet, but have you really helped them? No, you haven't, because the issues are very different. So if today we are taking the issues to the table, what about tomorrow's issues? That's what I'm telling you, get away from the issues. Those ones will be solved on a very local level. That's why even the president was laughing when he was being asked questions about small issues. He's like, hey, bro, I'm the president. I deal with great issues. Put something real on my lap. But you guys want Mariam, aren't you the one who came here the other day telling us we need to chase the money that is in the sports ministry because that's the money that is for the youth?
No, you totally got me wrong. What I said.
No.
Let me correct you because you got me wrong. I said you have already ministries that are for youth, but they're being run by boomers. So you guys need to go and start from there. Those are your ministries. You need to go and manage them as youth. Go and ask, why are the youth not employed?
Exactly. How many? It is breadcrumbs, Mariam. We're talking about a whole country here. You're trying to direct people to a sports ministry. And this is a youth ministry. Go here to the youth ministry,
no,
get 100 million. And hold up. What you're trying to do is this: you're trying to tell them they belong in a certain place. No, I am telling them. And this is what Gen Z you need to hear. I'm telling you, the whole country belongs to you. Nobody should tell you what to do. Nobody should tell you where to be. Nobody should tell you this is the agenda. The whole country belongs to you. How dare you put the Gen Z in a box and tell them this is the box that you're going to exist in, and this box is called money that has been allocated by the government. Talanta Hela. Now the Gen Z are busy running after Talanta Hela, yet the whole country belongs to them. They have proven that. So why are you picking and choosing? So the issue here is do not focus on the issues because the issues will be sorted. Bro, issues always get sorted. So if you go with issues, it doesn't matter how many point plan you have. You got a 50-point plan, 50 points are going to be sorted. And then you're back in the streets looking for someone who can give you a mic so that you can say how agitated, how angry you are. No. You are asking the government to play fair in a game that they have never played fair in. Why are you playing fair? And hold up, Mariam and the Duke of whatever.
Can I correct you on something, please?
No, don't correct me. Don't correct me. Just go correct your nyanye. Just mute your mic for now. Kamankura, what's up? Hey. And you let these people, they are all like, now Mariam has her own agenda. She has come and she wants her own, to push her own agenda with her English. Hey, you know what you should be telling the Gen Z is that they should do this and this and this and this. That's an agenda. I think I don't know.
Okay,
Kamankura, go ahead.
Hello, Kibe. Thank you for giving me this chance. First, I'm a millennial. In fact, millennial limbo. Niliponea Gen X kidogo. But that's besides the point. In 2013, because I think that's when we lost direction as a country, because the economy was doing well and we weren't really concerned with good leadership. We voted along tribal lines, and ukiangalia, the guy who was making sense at the time, in my view, was Peter Kenneth, but the number of votes he got was very little. The point is, I atakuwa issue based. Now, Gen Z, yes, it's a good thing when we find about issues. That's a wonderful thing. And on this issue, a leader. In 2013, I remember thinking, if there's a way we can have, it's not practical, yes, but if there's a way we can have issues on the ballot where we vote, Kamani, we should, as a country, we should spend more on this, that kind of a thing. Now, reduce this. Now, where the Gen Zs are at the moment, without a leader, it becomes anarchy, to be honest. Agenda hakuna. But now, if for starters, say like to polls to Twitter, to people do every now and then, if they could set up such things, kama is okay, yes, it's things that have been settled, but I'll use it as an example. Kama ni hii issue ya your first ladies and our spouses, your attacking, have a couple for that, people vote, then that becomes clear. Various things, so that now when they're negotiating with the government, at least the issues that can be tackled. See, just anarchy. You get my point? Hello.
Now, I'm trying to get your point because you're still living in your imagination. Right now, you can hear people. Not here. You can see the jostling that is going on, even for things like these spaces, right?
Yes.
This group of people cannot agree who's going to do any one thing.
Yeah, that becomes a problem because now expecting him to leave office,
and that is
honestly,
Kamankura, and that is where I'm taking you. I'm taking you to a place where you guys at least see that making a decision is one of the hardest things ever, and Gen Z are not ready to make a decision.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, Andrew.
I hear you. Finish up.
Okay. My suggestion would be, okay, just because something has never been done doesn't mean it's not doable. So yes, it makes more sense for them having a leader, because that would give a more clear direction. But if they to continue the way they've decided to be leaderless, which is okay, at least let them set it as issues. Even if it's having those mini polls where now they can know. Yes, there's the issue of bots here, but I don't think that's a big deal.
Kamankura, we cannot agree on anything. So even when you're talking about these polls, which polls are we going to trust? Which polls are we going to use? Which platform are we going to use?
Like yours, and all this.
I mean, look at us. We only have 1.4 thousand people listening. Yesterday, Amerix had 80,000 people listening. Right. The other day, Kimuzi had 100-something thousand. The other day, the president had this number of people. Right. So there's no one platform that you can say this is the platform that is going to conduct this, is there?
That's not my point, Kibe. What I'm saying is, you can imagine if you had like those mini polls, you send it, you share it, Amerix shares it, Kimuzi shares it, even the president. Well, okay, I don't know about the president. Let me leave that aside. But if such a thing were to happen, so that when I clear direction, these are the demands that people have, and they'd like to have them met. Otherwise, it becomes anarchy. And yes, the other solution obviously would be now having a leader, which that's not something I think they're ready for.
And now also, just to put a spanner in your works. Okay, thank you, Kamankura. Just to put a spanner in the works. You guys have to understand, you must also decide on the questions. You must decide on the issues. You must. You can't just have issues that have not been decided on. So you must have a deciding mechanism. We have decided that this is what we are agitating for. And the beauty about Reject Finance Bill was it caught everybody.